This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by the Dover Liberty Book Club.
Guys, you're all under arrest for criminal trespass.
Jim! Stop resisting. I am not resisting. I am not resisting.
Mid-2010, almost without warning, Keene, New Hampshire police seize a dozen liberty activists. Their infraction? Standing in the parking lot of a jail. Although it strained their resources, this is probably the closest thing local heat has had to a victory over the Keene activists. Local pro-government media made it sound like it was the activists' fault they'd been arrested. They implied that the strain on police services could have endangered the city's safety. I call it, look what you made me do propaganda.
They got someone else down at the bottom.
Shit.
Oh boy.
But this deed and other more unpopular acts by the police come with a price tag.
Needs to shut it off now, so shut it off.
Each time authorities arrest a victimless New Hampshire liberty activist, it creates a sort of radioactive particle. And that particle goes into a sort of long-term radioactive stockpile that builds up around the police. They may not be thinking about it now, but that particle and the others like it will still be radioactive decades from now. Now, I may not be around 20 years from now to remind you of this particular abuse or that particular abuse, but someone will. And if you're a cop and you've done something like this, the person who calls you out on it may be your grandkid, who hasn't even been born yet.
Make them hurt! You should be ashamed. Make them hurt!
You guys should be proud of yourselves!
Granddaddy, did you hurt the liberty people? Granddaddy, why did you hurt the liberty people? Why did you do what you were told? Why didn't you just say no? Why did you stop that man from filming you? Were you trying to hide something? Would you arrest me? Did you ever torture anybody? Some of these types of questions are already asked by grandkids of cops who were active in the civil rights era. What you've done can be forgiven if you're a cop, but it can't be deleted from the record.
I don't know who it is that's getting arrested. Oh, it's Bumpy.
It's our job as liberty folk to make that record as permanent as possible. Now, while it can help deter bad police activity. If you're a cop, I think I want your grandkids asking you how much money you sucked out of taxpayers and what, if anything, you did to make them pay up. And there's a very good chance that the society you grow old in will be one where lots of people ask that question. Liberty's eventual victory will be sloppy and it will be partial, but it will be enough to change the way large numbers of people think. It will be enough to make a scandal out of some of your misdeeds. There are things you've done that are popular or accepted now, but won't be later. With any luck, you may be spending a substantial part of your lifetime explaining yourself. People like me or nhfree.com are just the initial messengers. Back around, say, 2005, people basically just challenged you on an individual, sporadic basis.
No victim, no crime!
Now, you face organized opposition. Loosely organized, but still fairly powerful. It's not opposition to your thief chasing or your rape investigations. Liberty folk tend to be very supportive of that sort of thing. But misdeeds like this, and your practice of essentially taking your salary by force, detract from what is, in theory, a very honorable profession. Liberty's request of you is that you at least do something from your current position that mitigates the harm your institution is doing. Maybe you don't rack up that extra taxpayer expense that you could have. Maybe you do start respecting more completely the right of the individual person to videotape you. And ideally, maybe you do what Brad Jardis did, and you start refusing to enforce bad laws. Jardis was a police officer in Epping, New Hampshire. History and your descendants will be watching, and we will be giving them something to watch.
This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by the Dover Liberty Book Club. In addition to eating lots of pastries and drinking lots of coffee, they are dedicated to learning about the basic principles which explain our current economic and social situation. And speaking of economic situations, you'll be glad to know most of the books they read are free. Dover Liberty Book Club.